Moonjumper here, Happy New Year 2022, and welcome to yet another sub-episode of Who Cares What I Think?
Who cares what I think?
Thank you, that was Father Time weighing in. If you're one of about 30 people familiar with my channel, then you know that a sub-episode typically contains a clip and or clips from a larger main episode, in this case, a discussion on whether or not the typically preachy woke CW could possibly be in the process of a tonal pivot away from trying to appeal strictly to the cult Twitter mob who largely don't even watch broadcast television to a more, dare I say, normal, rational, mainstream demographic, even a little bit older demographic, best exemplified by the CW's reboot of the Waltons over the Christmas holidays, but also noticeable in last year's premiere of Superman and Lois, which launches its second season January 11th. I'm going to play for you two clips from Who Cares What I Think, episode 17, Is the CW Changing?, in which I praise the first season of Superman and Lois, and then another clip addressing a trailer for season 2, which is a bit of an uh-oh. Is Superman and Lois about to go woke? Roll the tapes. This young woke TikToker, this young woke TikToker. I don't know who they are, I can't read their minds, but I am going to go out on a limb and say they're probably not interested in the Waltons. And maybe someone at Warner Brothers and even the CW of all places finally got off Twitter and looked outside their own bubble long enough to figure that out. And you get a sense that the producers of this Walton reboot actually want you, a traditional viewer, to watch it and actually enjoy it with your family without insulting you, without calling you a bigot, without trashing the Christmas traditions you hold dear. It's refreshing and certainly bucks the trend of modern Hollywood, which will spend enormous amounts of money expecting to break all ratings and box office records by lecturing their paying audience just how much they hate and despise their paying audience, then blame said audience when no one watches it. It's a weird new age business model that maybe a few of the studio bean counters are beginning to figure out isn't quite working, and at the CW no less, which may explain why the CW is beginning to pivot away from the cringe preachy wokeness of Supergirl,
no touching without consent,
and replacing it with Superman and Lois and Stargirl, two series which have largely avoided wokeness in favor of just being generally good. Although I don't totally buy the whole Kryptonians possessing humans plotline, but I'll save that for a future review. The point is, Superman and Lois, Stargirl, unlike the rest of the Arrowverse, the goal appears to be entertaining us rather than lecturing us, and I'll give them credit for it. Maybe they're finally figuring out that regular people are sick of it. Even their younger target demo are becoming weary of all the angry, oppressive, regressive identity politics, seeking to divide us rather than unite us. Weird concept, right? Constantly telling your audience you suck somehow doesn't endear you to them. Maybe the CW is angling for a new audience, a new, older, more mainstream audience that woke Twitter, woke TikTok is just not providing. Maybe they're wising up. Although I'm not ready to hold my breath. If there is a pivot towards rationality at the CW, it's going to require the metaphorical dragging of CW creators and employees kicking and screaming. Just as I was praising Superman and Lois, the season 2 trailer just dropped and features our hero of truth, justice, and the American way throwing some rather ingrateful shade at that American way, despite our way being a hell of a lot better than most because of the timeless forethought of our Constitution.
What you asked for was my allegiance to America. You refused to me. Because I gave it to the world a long time ago.
They just couldn't stand it. They could not stomach receiving compliments from those deplorable fans they despised with a passion. Time to chase them away. They want fans who hate their countries. Get woke, go broke, baby. That's just fine with them. It's the principle of the thing. Well, the new owners are going to have to deal with their own employees. But maybe these un-CW-like Christmas specials are a sign that they're trying. And stop the tape. Now, just to be clear, in these clips, I'm expressing my concerns. I'm not suggesting that everyone should lose their minds and not watch season 2. This was a trailer, and trailers can be extremely deceptive, out of context, and even mischaracterize an entire film or program. The latest Bond film, No Time to Die, comes immediately to mind. The trailers we saw had everyone believing that it was going to be a woke beta Bond disaster, and the result was nobody went to see it. The trailers were edited to sound woke, so the movie almost went broke. But I actually did go see it, and it was just the opposite. It wasn't woke. Bond was in top form. The female 00 that dominated the trailers and had everyone losing their minds, she was barely in it, and it was a good movie. You cannot judge anything based off a trailer. That said, note to advertising agencies who these days seem more interested in pushing a message rather than selling the product they are contracted to sell, you can sure as hell sink that product. That said, Hollywood is certainly capable of sinking their own product by defiantly rejecting the very audience who were just recently giving them praise simply because they despise the people who were giving them the praise. So they are happy to put an end to that. And you might think, why? Why would they do that? Well, they're tribalists, and about 5 years ago, they lost an election to someone they never expected, and they lost their minds. It literally broke their brains, and 5 years later, when the dude's not even in office anymore, they cannot let it go. And now with the midterms coming up and things not looking promising for their side of the aisle, I could certainly believe that in their broken brains, they could actually think that having Superman do a little America bashing, that's going to help their preferred candidates while doing wonders for their ratings. Well, that's what they think, and who cares what I think? From deep in the heart of Texas, I am Moonjumper. Be sure to check out my full in-depth analysis in Is the CW Changing? That full episode linked down below and at the end of this video.
Who cares what I think?